I'm Joe Pachetti, and let's queer up entertainment. Joe Locke and Andrew Scott are teaming up for a powerful new LGBTQ-centered film. Heartstopper's Joe Locke and Wake Up Dead Man and Knives Out mystery star Andrew Scott have been cast in Elsinore, a new film chronicling the life of legendary gay actor Ian Charleson. As reported by Deadline, Scott will portray Charleson as he prepares to perform Hamlet at London's National Theatre. Charleson is best known for his role as Olympic athlete and missionary Eric Liddell in the Oscar-winning 1981 film Chariots of Fire. Charleson was diagnosed with HIV in 1986 and died of AIDS-related causes in January of 1990 at just 40 years old. 8 weeks after his acclaimed Hamlet performance, he requested that his death be publicly announced as AIDS-related, making him one of the first UK celebrities to do so, and helping awareness and compassion for people living with HIV and AIDS. The cast of Elsinore include Olivia Colman, Billie Piper, Johnny Flynn, Monica Dolan, Juliet Stevenson, Adeel Akhtar, and more. Elsinore is directed by the Dig filmmaker Simon Stone and written by Pride writer Stephen Beresford. The film is currently shooting across the UK and has no release date yet. I think that sounds exciting. I'm kind of interested to see it. How about y'all?
Yeah.
I don't know a lot about him.
Well, that's the thing, is that we need to know more about our history, and we need to remember it's already being like this secret or this way thing from the past. It still impacts people's lives. It's still relevant, and we need to know about it in any case.
Right.
So anytime like this, that like we were exposed to our history and to things that are still important, like HIV, this is and anything that Olivia Colman touches, I have to see.
Right.
So yes,
He's in everything lately.
Yeah.
All the British stuff.
This generation doesn't really know what our generation went through with HIV and AIDS. I mean, I can't even remember how many friends I've lost. It's scary. But they just think, I'll just pop a PrEP and I don't have to worry about that.
No idea. Yeah.
And they never saw their friends dying from wasting syndrome and KP sarcoma.
Nobody teaches LGBTQ history. You don't learn it in school.
No.
There's no classes.
History and science are enemies of education right now, but they're hanging up the Ten Commandments here and there. You know?
I think it's the responsibility of those of us who lived that history to make sure it's documented.
Stays alive.
That's why there are so many programs of oral histories.
Yep.
And I think that young LGBT folks should be encouraged. I've actually done a couple of presentations to LGBTQ youth on the history, dating way back to the ancient Greece, where it was part of everyday life. And, having these kinds of stories come out goes a long way to giving people an idea of what it was like back then.
And HIV is not just our history. I am HIV positive 37 years.
Right.
Like, it's sort of a miracle that I'm around to tell this tale.
Right.
Because I wasn't just a witness, I was one of those people.
Right.
And it's like some of us, I am one ridiculous legislative action around medication away from not being able to live.
Right.
You know what I mean? So this is not just history. It is still very, very relevant, which is why I think things like this are so important.
But you're right. The younger people don't know. They don't remember that it was. I mean, for us, it was a 20-year COVID shutdown almost in terms of how it changed our culture in so many ways, and that's why the Stonewall National Archives is so important because so many people don't know about it. And Andy Perrott really recently made a full-length movie out of a lot of the oral histories some of us had done for him about gay history in Broward County, and he went all the way back to the 50s.
Right.
They did one showing of this film recently, and the part that was about that part of our culture here.
Yeah.
You get it.
Yeah. I think that all of the LGBTQ youth should be required to watch Longtime Companions.
Oh, yes.
And Philadelphia Story. The Philadelphia Story. I had a house guest in Aspen, a young guy that came to visit in the summer, and he didn't know what Philadelphia Story was. He thought it was something or Philadelphia, I think. I'm confusing that with the Philadelphia Story.
Yeah.
And he thought it was the, movie with Katharine Hepburn. And I said, no, we're going to watch this. And he cried and cried and cried. And I said, we all lived through this.
Exactly.
We lived through all this.
And I know that we have this youth culture in our, LGBT, but I turned 60 this year. In November I will. And I'm so glad though. I'm so glad because 30 years ago, I didn't know anyone my age.
Right.
Yeah.
And, I did.
No, I get it.
I did 100 funerals.
We lost everybody.
Between 94 and 96, I did 100 funerals, all before I was 30, and never for anyone over the age of 50.
Right.
And so that I have this wonderful opportunity to be an elder in our culture because there was a whole generation that we didn't have older.
Right. They were gone. And Cindy was working for HCN at that time. God knows how many people she lost.
Yeah, so many. And
they don't know if it weren't for the lesbians. We'd even had a worse time. They were our caregivers and our advocates.
Because we weren't afraid to touch you.
I bought an apartment building and it was full of guys that were on disability.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, history is so important. Watch the film when it comes out, whenever it comes out. There's no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by sharing them and subscribing to Queer News Tonight.